Hi guys, I'm Lauren Joy Graves, the Olathe Public Library, and today's project is exploding paint rocket art. Let's get to experimenting.
For this project, you will need alka-seltzer tablets, some kind of poster board or canvas, tempera paint, and a film canister. For the first part of our experiment, we will want to add about 1/4 of a film canister full of paint. Now, tempera paint is sort of goopy, so we're going to add a couple of drops of water. Once you add the water, you can mix it all up. For this project, I'm going to experiment with different sizes of alka-seltzer tablets. So I'm going to use a whole tablet, half of a tablet, and 1/4 of a tablet for 3 of them. And then I'm pretty sure for the last one, I'm going to make it the big tablet. Alrighty, so we're going to see how far they're going to fly and how big of a splatter that we can make with the different kinds of alka-seltzer tablets. I've also used a different amount of water in each of my different paints. So I've used more water in the blue and no water in my yellow so that I can get, hopefully, different kinds of splashes. So for this project, we're experimenting with the alka-seltzer tablets and the amount of water that we're putting in our paint rockets to see what happens. Stay tuned. My hypothesis is that the bigger the alka-seltzer tablet, the higher the canister will fly and the bigger splash it will make. The smaller the tablet, the less height it will get, making a smaller splash, but a more in-depth splash. So I want my yellow one to go on the top as an accent. So I'm going to have the smaller alka-seltzer tablet in it, and I'm going to have the least amount of water in that one because I don't want it to go as far and I want it to be a richer color. All right, let's see if my hypothesis was correct.
Hello and welcome everybody to today's experiment. So the first thing that I have done is I've gone outside into a place where I know that I'm not going to get everything super dirty. So I've laid out on a flat piece of ground some newspaper in case my explosions get a little wild, and our template where we're going to place the paint. So let's get started. First, we're going to take our 1 canister of paint and add 1 alka-seltzer tablet to it. You're going to shake just a little bit so that the alka-seltzer tablet gets completely covered with paint. And this is the part where you might have to have an adult if you're not really sure if you can do it yourself, and you're going to want to make sure that once this is in there that you are ready to put it on the palette and run, because you do not want to be in the blast zone, and you want to make sure that you're not hovering over your little paint rocket at all, because it'll be pretty dangerous. All right, are we ready to drop it in and see what happens? Here we go. I'm going to cover it loosely, shake it just a little so it's completely covered in paint. Alrighty, here we go. I'm going to place it face down in the middle of my little platform here, and now we wait to see it blast off. Oh no! Failure 1. I think it exploded. It's trying. I don't think I had enough pressure when it started fizzing. But as you can see, it's kind of bubbling up still, so I'm just going to let it be. I think we've discovered that the canister has to be fully, really tight in there or it won't blast off correctly. Oh no! Failure! I tried stuffing it in there again, but it didn't blast off. It just kind of did a little pop. So we are going to try again with another canister. So I just put it back on there to see what happened, and it did end up blasting off a little bit. Cool. I'm going to leave this here for now. And we'll come back when the paint is a little drier. Try bottle number 2. So the first rocket didn't blast off like we wanted it to. So now I've got a second container of paint, and I'm going to add 1 full tablet of the alka-seltzer to this bottle, and I'm going to seal it up as tight as possible in the hopes that I can build enough pressure for the rocket to shoot up really far. So let's see if it works. Okay, I've opened it up, and I'm going to drop in 1 alka-seltzer tablet. I'm going to seal it up as tight as I possibly can and shake it a little bit so that it's covered with the paint. And then we're going to place it on our canvas. Yep, so this time nothing's coming out when I put it forward. So we're going to place it on the canvas. And then we're going to leave to give it space to blow. Woo! Now we know that we definitely want to seal it as tight as possible so that we get that explosion. It's bubbling. So I'm just going to take the alka-seltzer tablet and put it off to the side for now so it can keep reacting where I can't get hurt by it. Nobody else can get hurt by it either. It's already looking pretty cool, guys. All right, time for our next rocket. Now I've got my other bottle of paint, and this one has a little bit more water in it, and I've got 1/2 of an alka-seltzer tablet. So we're gonna combine these and see what happens this time. So I'm gonna pop open my bottle, drop in the alka-seltzer tablet, seal this up really tight so it gets that pressure to shoot off, shake it so it's all covered in paint, and then I'm gonna place it back on my palette. I'm gonna put it, I think maybe in this bottom corner, and have the red and yellow up here. All right, and now we're gonna wait for it to blast off. And we're gonna step back and see how far it goes. Woo! That went way further than last time. I think more water helps. But you see how I didn't want to be too close because I would have been in the splash zone potentially. And it made a much smaller splatter than the other two. Even though the purple one didn't even get up in the air, it still has a larger surface area. Looking pretty good so far. It's time for our next rocket. All right, now I have my red rocket ready to go. I promise you, I'm not the one that set off the alarm if you can hear that. All right, so I have my red rocket that is ready to go, and this time I'm also gonna add another 1/2 of a tablet of the alka-seltzer. I want it to explode a little further, so I'm gonna continue to use 1/2 tablet rather than experiment with the 1/4 tablet, so the yellow one will be the only one to be a 1/4 tablet. So I've got my red paint rocket and my 1/2 of alka-seltzer tablet, and I'm gonna open on up our little bottle, put in the alka-seltzer tablet, seal that up nice and tight, shake it, and I'm gonna put it on my palette so we can see how far it goes. Oh, I can hear it. And I'm gonna put it right at the top here. There it went. Again, a little bit out of the blast zone. I really like how it did those little splashes, and I kind of wish my canvas was a little bigger so that I could have gotten that. Cool. But I will say this tablet was a little smaller, and this definitely didn't splash as far as this one did. I'm gonna just pick that up and move it off to the side. And you can see like this tablet is already like pretty melted compared to the other ones. And I think just to get that drippy effect that it had, I'm gonna use some of the paint that I got on my fingers to just kind of make it more stylized like it was. Maybe smear a little bit. All right, we're ready for our last rocket. I got yellow, and I have one little quarter tablet of the alka-seltzer to put in here just to see how it differentiates from the other rockets that we've blown off today. So we're gonna open it up just like we have the other ones, drop in our tablet, seal it up really tight, and shake it, and then we're gonna place it on our palette. I'm gonna put it right up here in the corner, and we're gonna watch it blast off. This one's taking a really long, oh, there it goes. It had time to build up quite a bit of pressure. Oh, it's still bubbling. And just for the aesthetics of the painting, I'm gonna go ahead and smear it a little bit and take off that alka-seltzer tablet. Cool. And I have a little bit of paint on my fingers now, and I'm just gonna splatter it so it looks cool. Awesome. Now we wait for it to dry, and we have a very cool portrait, and we've learned, I think, a little bit about how far these paint rockets will go with our different types of, and I think we've learned a little bit more about how pressure works. And if you don't put a lot of paint in there, if you just put more water than paint, you could probably do a bunch of different explosions of various sizes depending on how much water and how much alka-seltzer tablet you put in. Pretty cool, right? All right, guys. Thanks for joining me for my experiment today. I hope you had a lot of fun, and even though the first one didn't work, it still looks really cool. So I think it's important that you all remember that mistakes can be just as cool as the actual product itself. So everything's a learning experience. It's cool if the first one doesn't work out. Keep going, and you'll have a really cool piece of art at the end. Thanks, guys.